Okay, hello. We are on ball dive.
Yep.
So let's go over how this comp works. Or Kai, you were talking, right?
I said, yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Um, they're on Sig poke. We're on like Summer Tracer ball. So how should we play into that?
Diving the supports and
Yes.
not taking too much poke damage from them or playing at range.
Yeah, precisely. So not trading damage before our engagement because they do way more range damage than we do.
hmm
And going for a fast hit where we can close the distance and get a burst of damage in. Usually what that will mean is going off of a Sombra hack. So the staging is pretty solid. I think that the stacking Tracer, Curie, Lucio, and Card here is probably unnecessary. We could have at least one, maybe Tracer here, and then uh, potentially leave Lucio on cart, or leave Curie on cart, and then put Lucio with Tracer. So we can create like a little bit more of an angle where we're not exposed. Because Cassidy swinging here, as soon as he peaks, one of you guys is getting forced out or killed, probably. And we're not quite engaging it, right? Like this would be a safe place to be if these guys were standing here, but we're taking long enough that it becomes, they're denying the cover, so it's dangerous. If we want to stand here, it's fine, but that means that we have to hit in this area before they rotate through. It's a solid pick. A little bit of a timing issue there. Our ball is out and our tracer's in, and then our ball is in and our tracer's dead. Our somber's out. So this first engagement is good. We have ball tracer engagement. And then they're both out. But our somber dips while our ball goes back.
Oh.
Yeah.
And our somber's rotation is way too long here. So now our ball is engaged, but our tracer's dead, and our Sombra also lost the angle. So if you get forced out on Sombra, if you're behind them, it's really easy to just like TP back to cover where they can't really chase you, because nobody's gonna go like back into their spawn to chase down a Sombra, hopefully.
hmm
Or if you're on the angle here, it's still far enough away and deep enough of a flank that you can just TP, or if you get forced out this way, you can walk back on the angle this way and maintain the angle. And that helps because that's where you want to be in the first place. Like if you set up here on first fight, if you're going for a recontest or a second engagement, that it's good to just set up on the off angle as well. We should win this fight because they're 2 down.
hmm
Looking at Juno. Yeah, it's Juno. A little bit of target focus there. That's good. A little bit unlucky. Translocating recovery. Ball engagement now. I think we kind of missed the target here, but we should kill Mercy or Sojourn and never focus Sig. Let me turn this down a little bit. It looks like we're calling for Mercy, and we kind of just... she kind of breaks her ankles. But yeah, we killed her. That's good. The rest of us die. Lucy's going hella deep. So this is pretty micro, right? But if we have Tracer Lucio and we want to pincer from this angle, that's totally fine. We just need to make sure we're being careful crossing space, because Lucio is very good at like holding an angle and staying there and booping people away from him. But if he has to cross through people or a mass of people like this, it's very risky. So same thing, if Lucio is here and we want to go for Mercy, he can go here and then play around this area. But crossing through from like corner to corner is where he's most vulnerable. And Kai here, watch out for when your ball is engaged. You definitely don't want to be blinking backwards. You're not going to be taking damage when your ball is in, because your ball is tanking the enemy aggression. So this is your green flag to go forward and take a risk.
I think over there we were calling for Mercy,
Yeah.
and this is on me, but I kind of got lost because I thought Mercy was like retreating, but it turns out we like grouped her on like one side.
Yeah. Okay, understandable. We didn't reset correctly there. Should just back out and fully disengage if that's the call. Kyle is running it down, bro. This is a really good mines. Yeah, that's a fight win. Super good mines. And look at we're staged very well. Our tracer's got a good angle, good timing. Okay, maybe it's a second too early, but almost perfect timing. Lucio comes in, Sombra comes in. That's solid, and we get the hack off. Perfect. And now we have EMP and beat. We should win this fight as well. What's the problem here?
No setup.
We're not staged. Well, our tracer is almost kind of staged, but our Sombra's definitely not staged. And we have EMP, so if our plan is to use EMP this way, we definitely need to be watching where our Sombra's position is, so we're not wasting our PD and our health beforehand. This is like a really good EMP, but our ball is half HP. Half HP, no slam quite yet, and it just not a good situation. And our Sombra doesn't have, or sorry, what, our
Translocator.
Yeah, Sombra doesn't have translocator. And Tracer still has recall, so that's good. But overall, we don't have enough resources because we took a bunch of poke beforehand.
This ends. This ends now.
Ah, nice hack. And yeah, then we lose the fight because of that. Damn, alright. I was about to say we should use Rush to engage, but not when we have Himothy on our team. But now we do use Rush to engage, so how is our setup? Not looking too great. What's the problem here?
Similar setup before we are.
Yeah, but specifically what's wrong with our setup, our positioning?
They can easily poke us and you can take too much damage beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of using cover, but we're A, not close enough, and be stacked on this angle.
Helden sterben nicht.
It's like rushes are, when we rush, we want to think about like, where do we want to end up? Because if we rush here, the enemy will likely back up into this area, and this is where we'll end up fighting, right? So to make this our kill box with rush, we could have Sombra just flank and position on the flank, and then Tracer Lucio can be a little bit closer too, potentially like here, or here is good as well, or even moving up to this piece of cover in the car as we're getting ready to go.
Helden sterben.
See, this PD is happening, but there's way too much distance between our engagement area and our Sombra and Tracer at this time, and that's due to our setup. So it's like a trade-off between, we don't want to take damage, so we want to be like in safe locations, but we also need to be close enough to follow up on the hit. Sombra flank is good. Hannah's trading a little too much pre-fight damage and gets punished. The PD is good, but the timing's off now with your dive DPS. Like the PD's here, but our Sombra's out at this point. Okay, well, not quite out, but maybe you did okay. Check. Yeah, no, that's good. It's just a little bit of target focus then. Because the castle's 1 HP, the Mercy's 1 HP. And we kind of single-handedly killed them by splitting our damage into 2 areas at the same time. So who should call the target in this comp? If we can choose a target to dive.
Sombra.
Yeah, Sombra. Hey, EMP fight, Sombra, you can just already set up on the flank and wrap this way or wrap this way. It's like you have all the time in the world to set up however you want, so might as well make it the best possible position, which for you to create the best angle is just behind them. And if it's not safe to TP out this way, like for instance, if you were in this hallway, you can TP back to your team. Or if you were here and you didn't want to like TP out this way or it's awkward, you can just TP back to your team after you hack.
Okay.
But here we should win the fight with just EMP. So the problem with this engagement is we're not quite set up. Our Sombra and Kiri are not set up for this kill box. And is this a good kill box?
No.
Why?
LOS.
Yeah, LOS, like we're not set up. But theoretically we could put like Kiri here, Tracer, Sombra, and fight them here.
Yep.
Should we do that or not?
If we were set up, it should work because they have like a really little amount of space. We're like pincering them.
But is that the best place to fight them in? Where does Ball want to fight?
Out in the open,
Yeah.
where she can use mobility.
Yeah, out in the open. It also denies them cover. Like here, we have to get very close to them to shoot anybody because there's lots of pieces of cover in this room and there's lots of corners and places for them to hide. And it's also difficult for our ball to get PDs and grapples off, and we go in and out of this room. So yeah, in the open. So probably just around here. They do look like they're about to drop, so like we don't have to do anything until they drop. We don't have to take the fight here. These guys are forced to go cart or else they're gonna lose the game. So when they go cart, then we can have our Sombra ball engage, or ball can engage from behind and boop them forward into you guys, EMP and kill them here. Big beat. Big beat. I'm getting this try. Seems like we're getting confused whether or not we want to actually fight them here. That's a nice engagement from Ball and Tracer, but our Sombra and the rest of us were a little bit too far back.
Apagando las luces. Apagando las luces.
Oh, well, I thought we were gonna fight them around the corner, so I was just setting up for like
Yeah.
back there, and then
Yeah, I can see why there's a disconnect there. So if you're the one with the EMP, you can just call exactly where you want to fight them. So if you can get a flank in and they end up standing here, then you can call like, okay guys, I'm gonna EMP in this area. Or if you're flanking them and your team is back here, maybe it's better for them to walk here and then you EMP. Or just communicate it pre-fight.
Apagando las luces.
Yeah, don't bother hacking there, just open with EMP. It's a good engagement.
Apagando las luces.
I think the cast catches up off guard, I see. By the way, if we
Check.
notice the
Okay.
cast here, we can go kill him, or we can decide to go ignore him and then just rush this area, because we're all super fast and mobile. We can decide where we want to go, and this guy has granny legs, like he can't move at all. So if we decide to walk away from him, there's nothing he can do about that.
Apagando las luces. Marking satellite vector.
Hey, here in a 3v3, I would be okay just using mines or rush to win the fight in this area. But because they use their ult first and we don't ult, then we're likely to just lose that. And so we end up using both ults after we were down one then.
60 seconds remaining.
Even if it's not planned, like sometimes it's easy to plan the first ult we want to use in a fight, like such as EMP. But then after they start responding with ults, what's important is we don't hesitate. Like if they ult and then we have to think about, is it worth it for me to ult or not? By the time you did that mental math, it's already too late. Like if we're going to reply with an ultimate, we need to do it instantly. And it's okay, like using another ultimate to win the fight is totally reasonable. Even using like 3 ultimates to win the fight and they use 1 is reasonable. But it's always worth it to use +1 ultimate to win the fight if they use an ultimate. But there can't be any hesitation. Ball PD, but nobody can follow up.
30 seconds.
I think we're just desperately kind of trying to stop card here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what does get us killed. Yeah, Tracer trying to take the angle, but Tracer's getting stuffed out. If Somber translocates in, that should be a feed for sure.
I just didn't want to push that because they had a sig and
I see. Yeah, okay, that's reasonable. If our Tracer saw that, then Tracer could definitely blink past and finish her off, but as Lucio cast, that's a good decision, I think. Beat engage.
I guess here was just target priority.
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking at Cass and Mercy at the same time. Just shoot Mercy, shoot Mercy. Mercy is very squishy and immobile. And she got to 1 HP, but we didn't quite get her.
Apagando las luces. Heldenstern.
Yeah, besides that angle here, it was just a target focus issue. Like our ball tracer has good timing. Besides the fact that our tracer is like 1 HP. So yeah, just target focus that fight, not too deep. But yeah, overall, pretty solid. The kill boxes were kind of wonky, and the angles some of the time were okay, but like we do need to spread out, especially our Sombra Tracer. We want to be engaging from different angles, and Sombra needs to be staged earlier, and Ball needs to not trade damage before we're actually engaging. Those are like the main points. Any questions on that map? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we Sombra decides when to engage, and
Yeah.
does the ball just shot call or like?
Well, anybody can decide when, but what matters, what's good for target calling is Sombra, because Sombra can scout for free because she's invisible. So Sombra can look at the whole team and be outside of cover without getting poked out. But Ball can kind of do that because he has like third-person camera. But other heroes are not so good at it. Sombra can see exactly where the enemy supports are and be prepared to hack them and ping them. So that's why it's good to just... Here, let's find an example.
2 minutes.
Like this fight. So if Sombra was staged correctly, maybe around here, we could just say, okay guys, I can hack Mercy, and then we just 3-2-1 hack her on this angle. Ball comes in, slam. She is probably just gonna get one shot if we hit the virus and the ball abilities. And then if Cass turns and tries to hinder, we just TP out, or TP back to our team, or like above this wall. I mean, just like TP and leave the fight for a second. And then after we're outside of the fight, and supposedly their Mercy's dead, now we have angles on them. Our ball's engaged, and we're still fighting, and we still have a powerful off angle, right? And then if we have to disengage, we disengage a little bit, play for our next cycle. When our ball and trace are ready, we go back in, that kind of thing. And that has to do with listening to each other too. Like we don't want to be in and out of the fight. If Tracer's in and ball's out, or if ball's in and Tracer's out, Cassidy is going to get more value because he does better in duels like that. But Cassidy's weaker when he's getting dove by multiple people at once. Okay. Nepal or Circuit?
Nepal was our first match, so Yeah, I guess we can do Nobel.
Ready for battle.
Okay, so let's discuss this comp really quick. Can you guys tell me your ideas on how this comp works and what each hero does? Ram,
Oh.
Mei, Ashe, Ana, Juno.
Ash just plays the long, like, on the side, maybe, just to poke out the supports or the squishies.
Yeah.
And Ram and May's main focus is controlling the high ground and not letting the Junker Queen rush.
So which lane is easier to walk down? I like your answer. Is this lane easier to walk down, or is this lane easier to walk down?
Left lane.
Yeah, because it's much less exposed. The point is very, very exposed and risky to go through. So this is the space we definitely want to control with Ramantra. Ram Mei are like a wall that nobody can go through. Like JQ, there's no chance she can walk through Ram Mei if we're stacked on high ground. So Ram Mei can control this space, and then Ashe can take a small off angle or a big off angle and basically just get value, because these guys are stopping them from moving past the Ashe sightline, and Ashe will get continuous value in this area if they're just standing there, right? And Juno can support Ashe. That's basically it. And then besides that, we just push pull with our cooldowns and ultimates. So if we have Juno ring, we can go in and try and get a jab at the supports. We can land our nade and dynamite, and those are enough of a trigger to hard engage with Juno ring and try and go kill something. And when I say hard engage, I basically mean like Ram Mei can just pop their cooldowns, drop wall, walk forward, throw slow, and just take space aggressively like that. So I think that was just a matter of cycling our cooldowns and not having an off angle.
Yeah.
Like, we can look at the cooldowns more specifically now. So the shield placement for Ram basically identifies like what position you want to walk up to. So if the shield is here, we're walking up to here. But if the shield is here, then we're walking up to this corner. Ideally, we can just take more space and walk up to here, but it depends on how fast they are. And yeah, so it's not a bad shield. We walk up to the corner here. Their Venture uses CDs, so we drop wall and shift. That's pretty good wall. Yeah, we got Ice Block first. It looks like we're trying to walk it. When you get out of block, we need to peel for you a little bit, so we could maybe drop slow, hit Juno heals on heals, and then just try and go to this corner to stabilize instead of pressing W.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of Juno ring to kite there. So here we just needed to stabilize, right? We're going in with Ram. Like, this is super greedy. This is super greedy. Our backline is not staged. We are not in formation. You have no support, and they have lots of support from these side.
Mm-hmm.
So So like a rule of thumb is whenever we're crossing the choke, like this threshold or this threshold here, we need to be swinging together. So for instance, if we're walking through this choke, we need to swing, drop ram shield, or drop ram shield here if they're far enough back. And then in this window of time that we have ram shield up, our team can walk out of the choke and get value and shoot them back. But if we're walking out of the choke alone, and our team is still in this room, our ram shield's going to be down and we're going to be low HP, low resources by the time our team comes out. That's why it's so important to swing through the choke together. Also, if we're moving together, like Ram May, nobody wants to be close to you. It's very scary to be close to Ram May. We kind of miss our shield, and when they're already retreating like that, it might just be unnecessary. Like if they're outside of this choke, we don't really need a shield for this space because we already can take this corner for free. Like if they're outside there, we literally just walk up to here, and they're not going to kill you. And then we have the shield to push out if we wish to.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know Avenger can burrow underneath the Mei wall?
I don't think so. She has to go around it.
Yeah. So I kind of forget how that interaction works. We speed ring, we try and engage here. What's really important is we land Nade and Dyna. I think we do. But our Ram is already half HP when this engagement starts because of the damage trading beforehand. And we don't really get a wall either. Like we really want to walk out and wall. If there's this close to the choke, we can wall like right here and try and isolate somebody. Because this is like threatening. If Mei Ram walk out on you and we get a wall off, they're dead for sure. So this is just a matter of swinging and using our CDs together. There's 3, 2, 1, walk out of the choke. Drop wall.
Time for the reckoning.
Also, we have Juno ult. So now that we're stabilized here, we can just 3, 2, 1 walk out with Juno ult. There's no reason to not use it if we're trying to push into them here.
Time for the reckoning.
Does that make sense so far? We just need to be confident and push together, push our core forward and hit our CDs together to win that space.
I don't know why I bobbed here, honestly.
Yeah. Another idea for you guys is if they're hard stuffing this choke, you can just send your Ashe Juno this way. Ashe Juno. And then wide swing Juno. So when you hard push main, you have a really crazy good off angle that's getting value immediately, instead of Ashe trying to squeeze her way through the choke behind you guys.
Yep.
We're playing dangerous games here, we could get staggered. That is ridiculous. That hero needs to be deleted.
And then we get staggered more.
Yeah. Okay, good job. Yeah, the staggers like matter quite a lot. Like they cost you on Koth, they cost you like an entire fight's length of time. Taking space, this is good. Didn't even walk out of the choke. They were so afraid of you guys. And yeah, I mean, if there's in here, we should literally just walk forward and take the space. Like, we can put Orisa here, have Juno swing wide, Juno cast swing wide, and then have a Reaper holding.
Mm-hmm.
Rotate main.
The objective is now
By the way, if they do this rotate, it's super predictable. Like, if they're backing out here, you guys know they're gonna go main, for sure. Try and hit your CDs here. Like, nade, spear. If Reaper can drop and get an engagement, and you actually can afford to fight them here, then you should.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Careful, we're getting super split here. Yeah, we just need to fight the front line. Did you roll in? You rolled
Yeah.
in? Yeah, just stay on the corner. You're 1 HP.
Honestly, I didn't know. I thought my supports were still like up on the high ground,
Yeah,
so I thought I was still.
that's nade. Should try and get that kill. Ah.
And since
happened to
this was
Kyle?
like a fight loss, we should just reboot.
Yeah, Kyle, just go on the high ground and play from here. I think you can just double jump up there. It goes pretty high. Okay, we do have Orisa cast, so if we choose to take top, they don't have like Rally or Juno Wall yet. We can likely just brute force it.
Yeah, I just saw what did we call it, all the whole 5 team come around the corner, and I didn't see my Orisa set up, so I was just like, let's just go around.
This is fine too, but the risk of doing this is that you have to rotate your Ana this way. Ana has to cross this field, which is very risky for her. You can do it. I just like good teams will rotate here and then try and engage and punish you, like we wanted to do in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Big nade. We're getting a little split here.
Yeah, we're each fighting our own separate fights.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, back on high ground. What ult should we use?
Time for the
Juno?
I think Noon works really good in this scenario too, because they're trying to push out and Noon is really good at zoning them, because there's
Yeah.
literally no cover in this whole lane. So Noon is good. But
time for the
if we plan to Juno ult, we can just play first Juno ult here and then fight them as soon as they walk out of this doorway. We can try and stop the JQ from doing that too by just using our Orisa CC. So best case is Orisa just stops the JQ from doing that, and we Juno ult in this area to punish.
So in that scenario, it's just whoever ulted first in that tiny choke point where Cole is.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like whoever.
No, because if we Juno ulted,
Yeah.
they wouldn't really use Jungle Queen into that, would they?
No, I'm saying like as soon as they show aggression walking out of the choke, then we Juno ult to fight them here. We don't want to go inside the room.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just like right about now, we want to use Juno ult because they're committing to the fight and they're committing to this rotation. Because there's no way they can escape. There's no way they can kite if we use Juno ult now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. One more thing to consider is we could just put our Ana back here because this is more vulnerable and harder to disengage from. Whereas if they push you here, they have to go through your entire team and you can still back out and disengage. Or drop and disengage this way.
Time for the reckoning.
And now we can engage with Juno ult, speed ring. 3, 2, 1. That's a pretty good engagement, but we were lacking target focus. Careful opening with Reaper ult, you will just get one shot a lot of the time. We can start with Juno ult, and then mid-fight maybe Reaper ult. Like, when Reaper ult worked best, for instance, in like the Overwatch League meta that was like Sojourn, Reaper, Monkey, if you guys remember. It's the biggest Reaper ults were like the mid-fight, late-fight Reaper ults when everybody used their cooldowns. The Brig doesn't have anything, the Sojourn has no side, Curie has nothing, and then Reaper comes in and there's no mitigation, there's no monkey bubble. So that concept is always good to apply for ultimates where you could easily get punished. Like Reaper can get punished for sure. Yeah, if we wanted match ultimates, that's fine, just use them earlier. Like Nano there would have been perfectly reasonable. It just needs to be earlier.
Time for the
Oh wait, yeah, that was last fight. We definitely should use all our ults earlier to avoid losing. You pinged me, Kai. May isolates enemy from team when they engage. Okay, yes. Okay, any questions about that map? How can we summarize this?
Don't hesitate
Yeah,
on using ult.
Yeah. Ult super early as soon as they're in the kill box, which means like this one or this one. We just pop an ult and go. Control our off angles. That's important. Swing, like call our swings, like 3, 2, 1, I'm pushing. And then we can get our cooldown cycle in together, like nade, Dyna, Ram shield, that kind of thing. And specifically, like Mei and Ram need to be highly coordinated, pushing together, getting our wall down. Yeah. I think that's it for the most part. Right, that's definitely the things we can focus on for the next scrim.
Yeah.
Instead of overloading with like details. And for the dive stuff, the staging is really, really important.
Yep, totally.